everyone, thanks so much for joining me. In this video we're going to do bridge pose, and I'll show some variations, supported bridge, and how it can transition to legs up the wall, maybe shoulder stand, not as instructional but more to just show the possibilities. Okay, with this video and anything where we're on the back and in any kind of back bend, it's really not safe to do and watch. Okay, so I won't be turning my head to look toward the camera a ton when my head is down and I'm in the back bend. So I'd really advise that you watch the video and then do it and listen, but not do and watch, if that makes sense. I don't want anyone getting hurt in a great back bend position. Okay, so we're gonna head back to the mat. You might find it helpful to have a block as well as a strap. Okay, so first I'm just gonna show just your standard bridge pose. So you'd lay on your back. Where the block can be helpful is to place it in between your thighs because it gives you a chance to keep the center lines parallel. So thinking about all of our positions, okay, we want to keep the joints to be open channels and yet secure. Okay, so in bridge pose, I'm going to be active. I want to press across my feet evenly. Okay, I might even like lift the toes, root across the balls of the feet, across the heels, lengthen the spine. I'm starting out in a neutral position, so I'm not in a tuck. Okay, and I'm going, when I enter bridge, it'll be in from neutral and then up, exploring the back bend. So I've got my legs organized. I want to keep the channels of the hips really open. Sometimes when people come into this position, they pop the thigh bones upward rather than keeping the thigh bones grounded. So a block can assist with some of that because you definitely don't want to feel any kind of pinching at your low back, and you absolutely want your neck to feel equally open. Sometimes I'll see students and they'll put a blanket underneath their head, and I always, help them remove it and test things out and see, does the pose still feel good or feel even better? And most of the time they don't, that blanket is a hindrance. Okay, so you want to have this sense of neutral. Okay, all right, so I'm going to be active from my feet, engaging the legs, keeping all the channels open and lifting up. Okay, and then testing it here. So I'm going to keep, so I don't want to pop up because that stops the flow in the back. So I want to keep the thigh bones grounded in the hip joints, engaging inner thighs, base of glutes, hamstrings. Okay, then you can shift your arms so that you're drawing the shoulder blades closer together, still keeping the head of the arm bones, okay, in the shoulder joints. I feel like my feet are a little bit too far forward, so I'm going to scooch them back because I want my heels to be directly somewhere right underneath the knees to give me the most leverage possible. You could always use a strap here to help connect the hands and give you a little bit more leverage. I have the flexibility to be able to interlace fingers, so I'm going to take advantage of that and really breathing into this. So my arms, it may be hard to feel this, but you want a slight internal rotation where the head of the arm bones connect with the shoulder joints, and then lengthen and breathe. And this is just a fabulous pose. I mean, I just absolutely love bridge. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lower the seat first, and then let the breath, okay, come in and make restore neutral spine. So that's bridge. You don't have to use the block. Okay, if you use the block, you do want to make sure that it's keeping the lines parallel. So you wouldn't want to feel that your knees are narrower than your feet are in it, okay? A lot of things happen and we can't see what's going on, okay? Just another potential, okay? So this is just a way to expand your pose. You could still use the block between the thighs. I don't tend to do it this way. You could always hold on to your ankles. It just depends on limb length, okay? So this is just kind of a neat variation. Still, I want to already lift the chest, keep the center lines and the legs parallel, and I'm going to press. I'm pulling onto the strap, and we're also trying to monitor, I don't want my knees to wag out. Again, that could pinch the spine, the low back. Okay, so I want to really stay grounded across the feet, keeping my thigh bones in the hip joints, engaging, lengthening, and I'm going to walk my fingers down here. Okay, so I really probably could do this fairly comfortably, holding on to my ankles, but I wouldn't want to turn my feet out or lose my organization, okay, in the pose. And then just coming down, breathing. You can take your knees side to side, just kind of checking in with how you feel. So now coming into supported bridge. Supported bridge, you're going to place the block. I just want to show you somewhere right around here. So where the sacrum is where you're going to place the block. You have 3 levels, okay? So, and depending, you know, on the thickness of your block, okay, so this would be the lowest, medium, high. You could really decide, you know, you can kind of play with it if you want to have it this way or this way. I go with the highest height. Really what happens is you want to come into your bridge and be able to pretty seamlessly slide it under, okay? So I'm going to come into bridge, okay, just having that block nearby. Same setup, okay, you're still always looking for the open channels of the joints. I can't say that enough because you want your breath, right, to be able to flow unhindered throughout the pose. That's really what's going to distinguish a pose, a yoga pose, from stretching. Okay, so we're incorporating the most optimal stretch possible. All right, so coming into bridge, okay, just kind of setting things up. Okay, this is the height I would typically come, and truly, I would love to have a higher block. I've tried stacking them, you know, one flat, one tall, and that doesn't usually work. Okay, it becomes too high. So I surrender a little bit of the flexibility, but I want to get the placement just right. You don't want to suffer in any pose. And then you surrender to the block. And at this point, as long as everything feels good, you can do pretty much whatever you want with your legs, okay? If I go forward, I'm right on the edge, like the thigh bones will want to pop up, and so I get a little hint of a pinch at my low back. I don't really like that. Okay, I don't want to stop the flow of the breath. So you can explore right here. Many people really enjoy coming up into more of legs up the wall pose, Viparita Karani. So you do one leg at a time. Again, you want nothing to change as far as the heart opener. It's right. You don't want to collapse, okay, when you lift the leg. So you still want to keep everything open, and yet it's supported. So I'm not having to work at this. So I'm just bringing one leg up, and I start with it bent, add the other one, okay? If you have the flexibility and it feels like no struggle, you can always straighten your legs. You don't want your legs forward. I mean, that is not a relaxing, supported pose. That becomes all of a sudden a work pose. So have the legs bent or straight, and only do this as long as you feel really supported on the block. You don't want your block to be tilted. Anyway, so this seamlessly can go into shoulder stand. Again, I don't want to lose that sense of a heart opener. I don't want to collapse if I come into shoulder stand. Okay, so I just want to show that as a transition. So I'm going to move the block out of the way, supporting. Okay, coming up. I still have a sense of openness. I just want to show, right? So you can see I'm not losing anything by coming into shoulder stand. Okay, and you can go into a plow, okay? Again, I'm not collapsing. I'm really trying to keep that sense of length in the spine. Whether the legs stay together or apart. When I come down, I'm not going to come down flat back. I want to support. You can support your body, okay? You can come down, okay? You want to feel that it's a safe transition. I move the block out of the way so I could do that. And then hugging the knees, taking the knees side to side. If I do that sequence of from legs up the wall to shoulder stand to plow, I want to end in a way that still opens the heart, because in the transition I had to lose some of it, because you really can't come down flat back in that way. You could always from plow go back to shoulder stand and transition back into a bridge, okay? But if you have to round to come down, then I would encourage you to just end with a bridge pose, some kind of back bend. Fish would be a real traditional ending, okay? And then you can roll to one side or come up in a way that feels good for your body. And then you just check in. It's a fabulous, I mean, I love back bends. I completely am biased. I favor back bends. So nobody ever has to convince me to do a back bend or a hip opener. Those are things that I just absolutely love to do. But you want to check in and feel, hopefully, only the positive impact of the position, heart opener, spine lengthener, okay? And all the while not compromising any of your other joints, okay? So I hope that this is helpful. I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.